ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां
समारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां
आचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे
वन्दे
गुरुपरम्पराम्
गुरुपरम्पराम्
ॐ सहना
सहना
भवतु
भवतु
सहनौ
सहनौ
भुनक्तु
भुनक्तु
सह वीर्यं
सह वीर्यं
कर्वावहै
करवावहै
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा
ॐ
विद्विषावहै।
शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः
शान्तिः।
ॐ तत्सत् ॐ नमः शिवाय. Okay, so we will go to the 87th Karika and let us chant. Please unmute yourself. Swavastu sopalambham cha.
तवस्तु सोपलम्बं च
You guys hear me? Because I can't
Yes.
hear you at all.
Oh, sorry. I was on mute.
Okay, Swavastu sopalambham cha.
स्वस्तु सोपलम्बं च
स्वस्त्ववस्तुसोपलम्भं च
Dvayam lokikamishyate.
वयं
चद्वयं
लौकिकमिष्यते
लोकिकमिष्यते
Avastu sopalambham cha.
तवस्तु सोपलम्बं च
अवस्तुसोपलम्भं च
Shuddham lokikamishyate.
शुद्धं
शुद्धं
लौकिकमिष्यते
लौकिकमिष्यते
Okay. So, Dvayam, this duality, this dual state, has Saha Upalambham. So, Upalambham means Upalambham means recognize or experience. So Upalambham is which consists of experiences of what? Savastu, along with other objects. So, experiences and objects. These are there in the one of the states, Dvayam. And Laukikam Ishyate is considered Laukikam. Now, in this Karika, the word Laukikam is taken to mean Jagrat Avastha, the waking state. So Gaudapada is saying that Dvayam, this duality, which consists of experiences of external objects, is called the waking state, is called Jagrat Avastha, while Sopalambham cha avastu. See the difference. One is Savastu and one is avastu. Savastu means along with objects. So the waking state consists of experiences and objects. Two things are there. Experiences of objects and the object is also there. While the other state, which consists of experiences, cha avastu, without objects, is considered Shuddham Laukikam. So Shuddham Laukikam here is taken as the dream state, Swapna Avastha. Okay. Now, if you can recall, the three avasthas we talked about were in the very beginning, first few mantras, not karikas, in the Mandukya Upanishad, not the karikas. So this teaching is now being summarized. The Mandukya Upanishad teaching is now being summarized. What is the teaching? You remember that we are Brahman, we are Atma, the witness of the three states, Avastha, Traya, Sakshi. And in each of these states, there is a subject object pair. There's a pair of subject object. So Vishwa is paired with whom? The gross universe. So Vishwa plus Sthula Prapancha is one pair. Tayasa, the dreamer, plus Sukshma Prapancha is another pair. Pragnya, the ignorant one, plus Karana Prapancha is one pair. So there are three pairs. And these three pairs, they are belonging to the avasthas, the states. And avasthas being anatma, these three pairs are also subject to change, modification, and subject to time and space. But who am I? I am the changeless witness consciousness, the nirvikara sakshi chaitanyam, because of which all these are recognized. I illumine these three pairs. I am the Nirvikara Sakshi Chaitanyam who recognizes these three pairs always. And this was the essential teaching of the 12 mantras of the Mandukya Upanishad. Right. So in the first line of this Karika, Gaudapada is defining Jagrad Avastha. And in the second line of the Karika, he is defining Swapna Avastha. As I said, he uses the word Laukikam to indicate Jagrad Avastha. He uses the word Shuddha Laukikam to indicate Swapna Avastha. And in later Karika, you will see he uses the word Loka Uttaram for Sushupti Avastha. Therefore, a particular way of presentation of the three avasthas, right? So he says, Savastu Sopalambham Chadvayam. That dvayam, that dualistic state, which has experiences plus the external object, right? So I'll explain. It's called Jagradavastha, it's called Laukikam. So what does it mean? Supposing you are experiencing an elephant in your mind, right? How do you know it is Jagradavastha? That experience of the elephant in the mind means that elephant thought has come about because there is a corresponding elephant inside you. So that is what it means. The experience is the elephant vritti, the elephant thought which you are having in the mind, accompanied by the corresponding physical elephant outside you. Right. So this is Jagrada Avastha. But in Sushupti Avastha, the external elephant is not there, but there is a thought of an elephant. Your dream world conjures up the thought of the elephant. So you see the elephant in your dream, but outside you, on the bed where you are sleeping, there is no elephant. So avastu sopalambhamcha. There is the experience of the elephant, but there is no external elephant. This is called Shuddham Laukika, Swapna Avastha. Why Shuddham? Because purely experience, no external object. So pure experience, not connected with any external object involvement. Right. Remember that in Swapna Avastha, in the dream state, you have experiences, but the object of the experience is not there. It is basically the recollection of the memories corresponding to those experiences. So you have had experienced an elephant in Jagrada Avastha somewhere, sometime. That memory, that vasana which is there in your mind, that is being triggered off, and therefore you experience the elephant in your dream. Right. So these are all merely internal thoughts, but outside the mind, there are no objects. Now we go to Karika number 88. So please unmute yourself. Avastvanupalambham cha
Avastvanupalambham cha
lokotaramiti smritam
lokottaramiti smritam
Lokotaramiti smritam
jnanam jneyam cha vigneyam
jnanam
jnanam
jnayam cha
jneyam cha
vigneyam
vigneyam
sada buddhaih prakirtitam.
sada
sada
buddhaiः
buddhaiः
prakirtitam
prakirtitam.
Sopalambham. That state, avastu, that state which is with an experience, but without an external object. So that is called what? It's called a Trimavastha. And here he says Anapalambham. Anapalambham means that state which is without any external experience. Not only that, cha avastu, and without external objects. Smritam iti lokottaram. Lokottaram is sushupti avastha over here. Right. So he's saying that one state is there where you've got experiences plus external objects. That is Jagrada avastha. One state is there where you have experiences, but no external objects. That is Swapna Avastha. One state is there. It has neither experience nor external object. That is called Sushupti Lokottara. Please keep it muted so that the recording is not disturbed. Okay. Then Jnanam, the knowledge. Jneyam, that which is known. And Cha Vijneyam, that which is Vishesha Jnanam, specifically to be known, which is Atma. Sada Prakirtitam is always discussed Buddhaihi by the wise. So he has defined that state, which is Sushupti, as not having an experience, any experiences, and not having any objects also. Having said that, we should remember that in all our teachings, we have never said that Sushupti is completely without thoughts. There is always the avidya karana sharira vritti. Avidya vritti, that is avidya thought, also called karana shariram thought. Karana shariram vritti. That is the single thought in Sushupti Avastha. What does it do? It records whatever is there. The experience of the lack of experiences. That blank state which you are there in Sushupti, that is known by this Karana Shriram Vritti, which is why when you wake up from Sushupti Avastha, you recall that you had no experiences. Okay. With this, the Avastha Trayam definition is complete. And here there is a specific word, jnanam, that means the subject actually. And the word jnayam, of course, means that which is to be known, the object. What is the difference between subject and object? Subject is pramata. So jnanam, that is this subject over here, does change, is subject to change. Jnayam, that which is to be known, is also subject to change. So if you want to understand that, supposing you are a pramata and you are looking at a pot, right? So as a pramata, you've got ghata jnanam, pot thought, and there is a pot also in front. But when I switch my attention to, let us say, a car over there, then the pot thought is gone, the pot object is also gone. So jnanam, the subject is gone. Jnayam, subject, the object is gone. What is there? The car knower is there and the car is there. Earlier there was the pramata who knew the pot. So the pot knower was there, which is the jnanam, and the pot was there, which is the jnayam. That has now been replaced by car knower and the car. Car knower is the jnanam. Car is the jnayam. Right? Therefore, the cognition of something and the object being cognized, both are subject to modification. And hence, subject, object, and the experience, the triputi, all three are subject to change. But there is something beyond these three, which is the very substratum of these three, and that is the changeless consciousness. That is the Vijnayam, Visheshena Jnayam, the consciousness principle. All thoughts and corresponding objects arrive and go. But supporting them all is the non-arriving, non-departing consciousness principle called Vijnayam. So he says, Jnanam Jneyam cha Vijnayam Sada Buddhaihi Prakirtitam. All the wise men, all the Upanishads repeatedly discuss only these three: the subject, the object, and that unchanging substratum, the Atma, Brahman, which supports all these three. Okay. Now we look at Karika number 89. Please unmute yourself. Jnanam cha trividhe jneye.
ज्ञाने च
ज्ञानेन त्रिविधे ज्ञेये
Kramena vidite swayam.
क्रमेण
क्रमेण
विदिते
स्वयं
स्वयम्
Sarvajnata hi sarvatra.
सर्वज्ञता हि
सर्वज्ञता हि
सर्वत्र
सर्वत्र
Bhavatiha mahadhiyaha.
भवतीह
भवतीह
महाधियः
महाधियः.
Okay, so jnane trividhe. These three experiences can be classified how into three because there are three avasthas. And trividhe jneye, the objects of experience belonging to these three avasthas. What are they? In Jagrata avastha, there is a external object. In Swapna avastha, there is a dream object, internal object. And in Sushupti avastha, there is ajnanam and there is sukham. Because we all say, I was happy and I knew nothing. So in Sushupti avastha also, objects are experienced. And that objects ajnana and sukham. Therefore, the jnanam jnayam pair is there in each of these three avasthas. The only difference between the Jagrata avastha, Swapna avastha and Sushupti avastha is that in Jagrat and Swapna, during the avastha itself, you are able to recognize the pair, the object. However, in Sushupti avastha, the Jnanam Jnayam pair is recognized only in retrospect when you wake up. And that is why after waking up, you say that during Sushupti avastha, I did not experience anything. I did not know anything. And I had a very comfortable sleep. I was happy. Therefore, the difference is that in Sushupti avastha, this Jnanam Jnayam pair is available, but it is a potential form because it can be recognized only after I wake up. And therefore, Jnane cha trivide jneye kramena vidite swayam. Trivide jnane. The three types of jnanam belonging to the three avasthas and trivide jneye, the corresponding three types of objects. Right? Remember we said the jnanam jneye is a pair. The car knower and the car is a pair. The pot knower and the pot is a pair. That way. So when the three types of jnanam, the knower belonging to the three avasthas and the corresponding objects, which are also three, kramena vidite, are known properly. Are known properly in sequence. In sequence means what? You have to go back to Mandukya Upanishad mantras. We said Prathama Pada, Dvitiya Pada, and Tritiya Pada. When you know them as Vishwa, the Vishwa and Jagat, Tajasa and Dream World, and you know as Prajna and these two objects. Then what's not given here is one who knows these three pairs of objects and these three knowers. You have to supply as different from himself. He only knows himself as Turiya, right? As Turiyam Brahman. And therefore, Sarvajnata hi sarvatra swayam bhavatiha mahadiyaha. Once this Turyam is known, then this person, mahadhiyaha, a person of great intelligence, that means a wise person, attains sarvajnataha, omniscience. So oneness with life, swayam bhavatiha, in this very life itself, which means that jnani will claim that I am appearing in the form of the entire creation. With this, Gaudapada concludes the condensed version of the Avastatrayam. And in the next, in fact, the condensed version of the Avastatrayam is what? It is a condensed version of the Mandukya itself. The mantra, if you look at the first 12 mantras, this is the condensed version. That there are three pairs. Once you know the three pairs, and you know that you are different from the three pairs, but you are the substratum of those three pairs, Thuriam. you have known everything. So that is what Gaudapada has said in these Karikas. Okay, having finished this, now Gaudapada goes to the sadhanas necessary. So we look at Karika number 90. Karika 90. Heyaप्यपाक्यानि
हेय
हेयज्ञेयाप्यपाक्यानि
विज्ञेयान्यग्रयाणता यग्रयाणतः
विज्ञेयान्यग्रयाणतः
ज्ञेयान्यग्रयाणतः
विज्ञेयान्यग्रयाणतः
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 तेषाम् अन्यत्र विज्ञेयात्
तेषाम् अन्यत्र
अन्यत्र विज्ञेयात्
विज्ञेयात्
उपलम्भिस्त्रिषु स्मृतः
उपलम्भस्त्रिषु स्त्रिषु स्मृतः
उपलम्भस्त्रिषु स्मृतः
उपलम्भस्त्रिषु स्मृतः
So, heyaha, the first word, heyaha, Jneyah, Apyah, Pakyani. These are four things, right? Heyah means what? Things which you should reject. Heyah. Jneyah means what? Things which you should know. Apyah means what? Things which you should acquire.
Get.
And Pakyani means things which you should cook. Okay, so these are the four things he's talking about. Vigneyani are to be understood. And Agra Yanataha, first, Agre, first, Anyatra Vigneyat, other than the Atma to be known, Trishu Tesham, these three, Smritaha, are to be considered. Upalambaha, as what? Upalambaha, as a mere appearance. So he's saying that the one who wants to practice the sadhana for attaining jnanam, atma jnanam, must know these four factors very clearly. Vigneyani agrayanataha. These four are to be understood agree in the very beginning itself. What are those things? Heyam. Things which are to be rejected or given up. For what? To ensure that we don't learn to hold on to the wrong things for happiness and security. Therefore, Heyam means the entire Anatma Prapancha, the entire changing world corresponding to Vishwa, Tajasa, and Prajna. Do not expect security and happiness from these because they themselves are insecure. They themselves are not long lasting. Therefore, they are to be given up. Heyam. What is the ultimate idea? Is to transcend Anitya Vastu. This should be clear. Initially, you hold on to Anitya Vastu, but you make use of them temporarily. Ultimately, they have to be given up. It is like the pole vaulter. Once he is at the top of the swing, he has to let go of the pole at the right point. Right. So these things have to be given up. So first, these three, the Vishwa, Tajasa, Prajna, and all related objects, they have to be given up. Then what do we lean on? Once you give up this, you can lean on three things: Ishvara, Guru, and Shastra. But again, Ishvara, Guru, and Shastra are not, entities to be permanently held on. Ultimately, what should you hold on to? Only your own self. Therefore, this journey we have talked about world dependence to God dependence to self dependence. This is what is meant by Heyam. Give up the world first. Hold on to Ishvara, Guru, and Shastra. Once you know that there is no Ishvara different from you, Give up Ishvara, Guru, and Shastra also. Give up doesn't mean you disregard them. Understand them as mithya. You are the only Satya. And Nyayam. That is the ultimate thing which you should know, which you should rely upon. That permanent thing is what? Turyam. And in this case, we have to understand that I myself, my own nature. So you begin by temporarily holding on to other things in life, but finally you have to hold on only to your own true nature, Atma Swarupam, as Brahman alone. So Jnayam, the second thing to be known. Then Apyam, that which is to be acquired. Can you guess what is to be acquired in this journey?
Knowledge.
Moksha.
Before that?
Before that, Chitta-shuddhi.
Yes. So sadhana chatushta sampatti and all those virtues you see in all these 13th chapter and 15th chapter and all that, 16th chapter, that is to be acquired. So apyam refers to sadhana chatushta sampatti expanded into all these specific qualifications talked about in Bhagavad Gita. You have to acquire them. And pakyam is literally cook or to roast. What is the connection in your journey?
Assimilation.
Roasting. What happens to
Ah.
something is roasted?
Nirbijam. The
Nirbijam.
roasted seed.
A roasted seed will continue to exist as a seed, but it cannot
But not sprout.
have a sprout into a plant. And therefore, you have lots of tendencies in your mind. You cannot remove them, but the fire of jnanam can roast them so that even if they exist, they don't cause any problems, right? Like all of us have minds and all of us have individual swabhava, nature. And because of that, you have certain likes and dislikes. So some of them you are born with. Some of them you acquire because of the environment and also because of the upbringing, right? Some of them may be dharmic, some of them may be adharmic. Those which are adharmic have to be worked upon and minimized or eliminated. And there are other types of ragadveshas which are not really adharmic, but which are connected to your individuality. Like what? Your dress habits, your food habits. And therefore, Shastra here is saying that there's no need to work on these. You can continue to have them. Only thing is ensure that they are non-binding. Ragadvesha should be non-binding. I may like, tea over coffee. But one day, if tea is not available, I should be able to drink the coffee. And if both are not available, I should be able to drink some hot water. It should not make a difference. This is non-binding ragadvesha, which we saw in the Gita. Idracha lava santushtaha, that thing. What has come should not be an object for spiritual growth, should be an obstacle for spiritual growth. Binding ragadveshas will always be an obstacle. Non-binding ragadveshas are okay. Therefore, he says, Tesham, among those, Trishu Upalambha Spritaha. Among these four factors, there are three: Heya, Apyam, and Pakyam. Right? That which is to be rejected, that which is to be acquired, and that which is to be roasted. These are only Upalambaha. They are only appearances. In other words, these three, Heyam, Apya, and Pakyam, they are Vyavaharika Satya. In other words, they are Mithya only. Right? And they are useful for sadhana, but they should be understood as Mithya. They should be used temporarily. And Anyatra Vigneya, Vigneyam, the Turyam, the Atma, Brahman alone is the ultimate reality. And you should hold on to that Brahman permanently. So once you have become Nyam, become the Turyam, then there should be no dependence upon Heyam, Apyam, and Pakyam. And Pakyam. So you'll find that there are people, great devotees, for whom the attachment to the Shastram or the Guru or even to the Lord is very strong. And if your attachment is as a form of, as an object, if Shastram is an object for you, different from yourself, if Guru is something different from yourself, and if Ishvara is something different from yourself, they're objects. Any object which you are attached to is a form of bondage. And therefore, ultimately, he is saying that you have to transcend all of these. Because security is not available anywhere. It is available only within yourself. Whatever is available anywhere in this world exists in time and space. And because it exists in time and space, it will go away in time. And therefore, never hold on to anything outside yourself. If you hold on only to yourself, you can do whatever you want to do in life. Life will be a leela, a huge playground. Now we go on to the next 10 karikas, which is the concluding portion of the entire teaching of the karikas. Okay. In the last three or four karikas, he has summed up the Mandukya Upanishad teaching. Now in these 10 karikas, he is summing up the karika teaching. So karika number 91. प्रकृत्याकाशवज्ञेयः
प्रकृत्याकाशवज्ञेयः
सर्वे धर्मा अनादयः
सर्वे धर्मा अनादयः
विद्यते न हि नानात्वम्
विद्यते न हि नानात्वम्
येषां क्वचन किञ्चन
येषां क्वचन किञ्चन
सुज्ञेयः प्रकृत्या सर्वे धर्माः अनादयः आकाशवत्. Yeah, you should know that dharma here means jiva. You should know that every jiva is prakritya, by own nature, is what anadayaha, is birthless, akashavad, like the space. And so, we have seen before, akasha has some common features with the jivatma, all pervasive, indestructible, accommodates everything, and asangaha, not connected to anything. And also anadayaha, without beginning, birthless. Right? So you cannot say that I want to become free from rebirth. I don't want another rebirth. That you should never say. Because you never had even a first birth. Where is the question of rebirth? This is with regard to your own true nature, consciousness principle. And therefore, Tesham, among those jivas, Vidyatehi na nanatvam kinchana. You should know Vidyate. There is not even the smallest nanatvam. There is not even the smallest multiplicity. No plurality is there at all in the jivas. So if somebody asks you, how many jivatsmas are there in this universe? Your answer should be what? There is only one jivatma. The other name for the jivatma is Brahman, Paramatma. Bodies and minds, the reflecting media, are multiple, but not the original consciousness, the jivatma, but only one. And kvachanaha, at any time. So there was no multiplicity earlier, there is no multiplicity now, and there will never be any multiplicity. So it's not as if there was duality earlier and we will reach non-duality at the time of moksha. Advaitam is not something which is going to happen in the future. It is already there with you. Unless that idea is there in your mind, that I am already Advaita Brahman, there is no question of you are ever becoming one. Then, Karika number 92. Adi Buddha Prakrtaiva
आदिबुद्धा
Adibuddha
कृतैव
Prataiva
Sarve Dharma Sunishchitaha
Sarve
सर्वे
dharma
धर्माश्चिताः
Vedharmasuchitaha
Yasyaivam Bhavati Shanti
यस्यैवं
Yasyevam
भवति
Bhavati
शान्तिः
Shantihi
Somrutattvaya Kalpate
सोमृतत्वाय
Somritattvaya
कल्पाय कल्पते
Kalpate
Kalpate Saha Kalpate Amrutatvaya. That person is fit for immortality. Why? Because your own nature, Atma Swarupam, is never veiled, is never covered at any point of time. Really speaking, Atma being consciousness is always evident. Nobody is ever ignorant of the Atma. In other words, everybody experiences Atma all the time. And we have seen in Kena Upanishad, Pratibodha Viditam Matam, Amrutatvam hi Vindate. In every single transaction, you are experiencing what? Atma, consciousness alone. Therefore, anybody who tells you that first you have to get Atma Jnanam and then you have to experience the Atma, he has not understood Astram properly. He has not understood the Advaitic idea properly. If all the time I am experiencing the Atma, obviously the problem which I have is not lack of Atma Anubhava. Experience of Brahman is never a problem because it is there in every single transaction. Pratibodhitam viditam matam. Everything, every single thought that you have, that is what experience of Atma only. The problem is that there are limitations of the upadhi, the body mind complex. Do you remember the definition of upadhi? That which is close, proximate. The three separate important ideas when you define upadhi. One is upadhi is proximate, very close to you. And because of its proximity, the upadhi transfers its own attributes to you, the Atma. And what is the third and most important point?
false transfer.
The transference is false. So upadhi, by definition, close to you, transfers its attributes to you, and the transfer is false. So Vedanta says, remove the limitation that you have superimposed. And so whenever somebody calls you, come here, don't say, I am coming. What should you say? What should you say?
I'm already there.
No, you just say, I am.
I am. Okay.
The coming belongs to the upadhi. You are there already everywhere. So somebody calls you, you say, I am. What is coming? The upadhi. That coming belongs to the physical body, not to you. And so he says, Adi Buddha Prakritya Eva. Everyone has got this Atma Anubhava all the time. So Adi means from the beginning. Buddha means here experience. This experience everybody has from the beginning. Why? Prakritya Eva. Because of the nature of consciousness. And Sarve Dharma Sunishitaha. Sunishitaha, clearly. Sarve dharma. This Atma is clearly evident to all dharma, to all jivas. And sahayasya evam bhavati. The one who clearly understands that I am this Atma. Saha yasya evam bhavati. one who clearly understands himself in this manner. In which manner? I am the ever evident consciousness principle operating through this body mind complex. I am not the body mind complex. I am not the upadhi. This upadhi is lifelike. It is able to talk, it is able to walk, it is able to think because of me, the Atma, which is blessing that upadhi. Such a person, Shantihi, is always relaxed. And Amritatvaya Kalpate, he alone is fit for moksha. Then, Karika number 93. आदिशान्तायनुत्पन्नाः
आदिशान्तायनुत्पन्नाः
आदिशान्त्यनुत्पन्नाः
प्रकृत्यैव सुनिर्वृताः
प्रकृत्यैव सुनिर्वृताः
प्रकृत्यैव सुनिर्वृताः
प्रकृत्यैव
पुत्राः
सुनिर्वृताः
सर्वे धर्मा समाभिन्नाः
सर्वे
सर्वे
धर्मा
धर्माः
सर्वे धर्मा समाभिन्नाः
सर्वे
सर्वे धर्मा
समाभिन्नाः
अजं साम्यं विशारदम्
साम्यं
वरदम्
विशारदम्
So Samyam Visharadam, uniform and pure. Visharadam, pure. So Adi Shantaha. Shanti is your own very nature. Adihi. That's what it means. From the very beginning of time, that Shanti is your nature. And therefore, it is not something which you need to acquire. So as long as you don't know that Shanti is your very nature, what will happen? You will work for removing thoughts from your mind. Because thoughtlessness is equated with quietude. But if you define the Shanti as absence of thought, remember that you have a mind. And the mind cannot permanently remain in a state of no thought. Right? What should I do? I should not work for thoughtlessness. Yogic meditation, yogic samadhi is not a solution. I should try to ensure that the mind entertains appropriate thoughts, right? Peaceful thoughts, generous thoughts. But even while ensuring that my mind does not have appropriate thoughts, I should never forget the Vedantic instruction. What is that? The presence or absence of those thoughts, they have nothing to do with Shanti. So I'm not defining Shanti as peace of mind, with peace, not peace of mind. Peace of mind may be connected to presence, absence of thoughts. But your Atma Swarupa Shanti, that absolute quietude, which belongs to my very nature, I should never forget that. That is my real nature. And whether I have disturbing thoughts or not, that is not going to affect my real nature. So, Anutpannaha Sunirvatrataha Prakritya Eva. By its very Prakriti, nature, every Jivatma is Anutpannaha, is birthless, without any birth, or beginningless. And Sunir Vrataha, free from the problems of samsara. Therefore, samsara is only Vyavaharika Satyam. I am what? I am Paramarthika Satyam. And Sarve Dharmaha Samabhinnaha, Sama Abhinnaha. All jivas, dharmas are samaha, are uniform, and abhinnaha, without any division at all. Therefore, whenever you say jivas, remember multiple jivas, you are referring not to the real jiva. The real jiva is only one, the Paramatma. But when you say there are multiple jivas, you're actually referring to the reflecting media, the various bodies. And therefore he says, He ajam, samyam, vicharatam. This non-dual jiva, which is only one, and which is not any other one other than the Paramatma, that non-dual jiva, ajam, is birthless, is samyam, is uniform, the same in everybody, in all bodies, and visharadam is pure. So there is a distinction which we talk about between shanti and moksha, right? Moksha refers to what? Atyantika dukkha nivritti, the elimination completely, atyantikam, of all dukkha, of all sorrows. So if moksha refers to elimination of all sorrows, what does shanti refer to? Shanti refers to gaining, acquiring atyantika sukham, acquiring all the sukham. And Gaudapada is saying that you need not do anything towards towards either of them. You don't have to work for moksha. You don't have to work to get rid of all the sorrows. You don't have to work for shanti. You don't have to work for gaining all pleasures. Why? Because the nature of yours, you are the Atma. Your nature is Ananda and freedom from sorrow. You don't need to do anything to produce Ananda or to remove sorrow. No effort that you can put will have any meaning at all. All you need to do is keep on claiming that I am that Atma. Then, if that is the ultimate teaching, then why does Krishna spend so much time recommending karma, upasana, and jnanam as sadhana? The answer is very, very deceptive. Sadhana is necessary to understand that, really speaking, no sadhana is necessary. Very, very important point. Sadhana is absolutely necessary until you understand that no sadhana was really necessary. Until you get that, you have to do sadhana. It's like losing the neck, losing the specs. I have put the specs up, right? Now it's on my head. And I don't know where it is. I can't see it. And therefore I search and search and search and search. And finally somebody tells me, Arey bhai, is there on top of your head itself. Was the search necessary? No. But the searching had to be done until you found that the search was not necessary. Similarly, sadhana has to be done until you understand that sadhana is not necessary at all. Okay. Karika number 94. All very, very important karikas, but they're all summaries. So we are going through quickly. All these we have already done in the 3 chapters. Vaisharadhyam tu vainasti
वैशारद्यं तु वै नास्ति
नास्ति
भेदे vicharatam sada.
भेदे
भेदे
विचरतां सदा
तां सदा
Ede nimna pritagvadaha.
भेदे निम्नाः पृथग्वादाः
पृथक्वादाः
Tasmate kripana smritaha.
तस्मात् ते कृपणस्मृताः
कृताः
So, nasti vaisharadhyam tu vai. There indeed can be absolutely no purity at all. Vicharata, for those who think about bhedaha sada, for those who think about duality all the time. For them, there is no purity at all. Prithikvadaha, the people who have different ideas, different philosophers. Veda Nimnaha are attached to the idea of Vedaha, duality. Tasmat, therefore, te kripana smritaha, they are considered to be misers, to be unfortunate people. So he's saying those who are not Advaitics, they dwell on duality all the time, and therefore one should be compassionate. They are considered to be unfortunate people. So without Advaita Jnanam, what will happen? You will always have the idea of duality. And whenever there is duality, the mind will always have problems, right? Because as long as you are in the dual viewpoint, you are only one entity in the world. And therefore you will feel that I am one small entity in this large world, and therefore I will want a family. I will want some group to hold on to. I will want some relationships. That is one problem. The second problem is fear of being rejected by those people, by those groups where I want to belong to. And therefore, you have other problems jealousy, anger, hatred. And the mind is therefore never relaxed, always occupied with these problems. And therefore, he says, Vaisharadhyam tu vayanasti, bhede vicharatam sada. The minds of those people who are dwelling on duality can never be calm. So, Vaisharadhyam is pure. Purity here is calmness. Why can't you be pure? Because all dualistic ideas, philosophers, they face the problem of separateness. So Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Purvamamsaka, they are all having multiple jivas in their philosophy. They all suffer duality and they do not think and analyze. And even some people, they analyze very elaborately. But then also they think about the differences only. And therefore, tasmat te smrita kripalaha. They are considered very unfortunate people because they can never be at peace. Okay, 95. Ajay samye tu ye kechit
अजे साम्ये तु ये केचित्
bhavishyanti sunishchitaha
भविष्यन्ति
भविष्यन्ति
सुनिश्चिताः
सुनिश्चिताः
te he loke mahajnanaha
ते
ते लोके
महाज्ञानाः
महाज्ञानाः
taccha loko na gahyate.
तच्च
तच्च
लोको
लोको
न
न
गह्यते
गह्यते
So here, Gaudapada is saying that there are some fortunate people who have got human birth. And they are more fortunate because they are born into a culture where the Vedantic teaching is being given. And not only that, out of all these people, there are some people who have got Manusha Janma, who have got born into this culture. But not only that, they are fortunate to have been interested in this culture, in this teaching. So they receive and understand the teaching and assimilate the teaching. So they are the most fortunate of people. So, tu ye kechit bhavishyanti sunishchitaha ajay samye. Ajay samye, birthless uniform Brahman. So, tu ye kechit bhavishyanti. There are some people who have got this firm conviction, sunishchitaha in ajay samye, the uniform Brahman. How did they get this? Because of these three factors. Their punyam is good enough to give them human birth, to give them a birth in a land where the teaching is there. And not only that, good enough to bring them to a guru, where they have done Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, and they have assimilated. Why Samye, worthless and uniform? Why is that necessarily used? Because Vishwa, Tajasa, Prajna are not uniform because they are identified with the three bodies which are constantly changing. The Brahman, Puryam alone, is different from the three bodies. Sharira Traya Vilakshanam, and therefore Samyam, uniform and unchanging. Right? Having said this, we should remember that the duality of experiences, your knowledge will not remove. You will continue to face duality in all your experiences. What is removed is the wrong idea that the duality is real. Right? You will continue to experience duality, but you will be convinced that it is a mithya only. And so he says, Mahajnana hiloke. There are great jnanis in this world because they have got paravidya. So I'm not defining. Mandukya Upanishad, I think remember. There are many jnanis in this world. Why are they mahajnanis? Because they've got paravidya. While all the others who are not jnanis, they have got only aparavidya. So these jnanis have also got paravidya. Tacha lokena gahati. This jnani, the ajnani, lokaha. So lokaha here means ajnani. The ajnani does not gahati, understand who is a tattamaha jnani. So the ajnani does not understand the depth of a jnani's wisdom. And Shankara quotes from Mahabharata in his commentary. He says a jnani is a well-wisher for all. Even the gods do not really understand the path of the jnani. That Advaitic understanding of the jnani, even the gods don't understand. Very nice quote from Mahabharata. Then we look at Karika number 96. We'll chant. अजेष्व जम संक्रांतम
अजैश्वजमसङ्क्रान्तम्
धर्मेषु ज्ञानमीष्यते
धर्मेषु
धर्मेषु
ज्ञानमिष्यते
ज्ञानमिष्यते
यतो न क्रमते ज्ञानम्
यतो
यतो
न
न
क्रमते
क्रमते
ज्ञानम्
ज्ञानम्
असङ्गम् तेन कीर्तितम्
सङ्गम्
सङ्गं
तेन
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 कीर्तितम्
Okay, so a very important idea. When you say that you are Sakshi Chaitanya, when you claim that Aham Brahm Asmi, there may be the misinterpretation that I am the Sakshi. When you say I am the Sakshi, some people can misinterpret it as what I am the witness. And because I am the witness, there is something to be witnessed. So the subject object duality might come up when you claim that you are Sakshi. And this, what happens? I am the Sakshi, I have a body, I have a mind, I have the world. So this idea is that I become the subject and the world becomes the object. So Gaudapada is saying that whenever the word Sakshi is used, remember it is from Vyavaharika only. Any description is from the Vyavaharika standpoint only. When you say you are Sakshi Chaitanyam, obviously you are Sakshi of something, right? And therefore, the world is there. So whenever you use the word Sakshi, it can be only from Vyavaharika standpoint. From the Turiam standpoint, what happens? You cannot be called a Sakshi. From the Brahman standpoint, from the Paramarthika standpoint, you cannot be called Sakshi because there is no world at all. Right? Sakshitvam goes away when the world is dismissed. And when the world is dismissed, there are no objects in Paramarthika. There may be objects in Vyavaharika, but you cannot have a relationship between objects in different orders of reality. So consciousness and matter can have a sambandha, relationship, only if they both belong to the same order of reality. What is the fact? Consciousness is paramarthika satyam. Matter is vyavaharika satyam, a lower level of reality. Therefore, no real relationship, no real sambandha is possible And if at all you talk about a sambandha, it is only an apparent sambandha. So this is what he says here. Ajeshu dharmeshu ajam jnanam. The birth of the ajam jnanam, eternal consciousness, which is the real nature of ajeshu dharmeshu, or the real jiva. It doesn't sankrantam mishyate, doesn't come into any contact with any object, right? Yata jnanam kramate. Consciousness does not contact any matter at all. Why? Because there is no matter which is separate from consciousness. You cannot say consciousness contacts the world because the world is not separate from consciousness. Therefore, I cannot call myself a Sakshi. Who am I? I am Asangaha Brahman alone. Asangaha Atma alone. Do remember that when we talk about objects being cognized, right? There is the travel of the thought to envelop the object being cognized, and along with that thought, the RC travels. Therefore, in any cognition, there is the vritti, the RM, and the RC, which is the OC reflected in the RM. They both travel. But remember, OC cannot move. OC does not move at all. So we'll discuss that again in a little bit. Look at number 97, Karika. Anumatre vaidharmye
अनुमात्रेऽपि वैधर्म्ये
जायमाने विपश्चितः
जायमाने
विपश्चितः
विपश्चितः
असङ्गता सदा नास्ति
असङ्गता सदा नास्ति
किमुता वरणुच्यते
भूतावरणमुच्यते
So, if you look at the words, anumatre api, even if only an atom. Anu is atom. Anumatre, if atom only, vaidharmye is different. Your supply is different from Brahman. Then Jayamane, you have to accept that that atom is born. And if you say that the atom is born and is different from Brahman, what is the problem? Asangata na asti sada. The asanga status of Brahman, the relationship-less status, the non-connected status of Brahman, na sada asti, will forever cease to be. And avipaschitaha, for that indiscriminate person, kimataha, what to talk about? Avarna chutiha, and ignorance. So he's saying that you cannot accept duality at all. Even if you say the smallest thing like an atom is different from Brahman, then you are saying that Brahman is Sangaha, as connections. And that cannot be a Brahman at all. Therefore, the moment you accept a second thing, even if it's only an atom, what comes into being? Duality, time, space, mortality, insecurity, fear, and samsara. That is why the Upanishad says, Dvitiyad vai bhayam bhavati. The smallest second thing will bring about fear. There is no problem in perceiving a second thing, but perceive it as mithya alone. A mithya second thing cannot create problems. But if you perceive that second thing as satyam, different from you, then every such thing will cause you fear. Right? So for that second vastu, what will happen? Second, not mithya vastu, the second satyam vastu, there will be raga, there will be tvesha, there will be jealousy, there will be hatred, sangam will come, attachment will come, sambandha will come. All these things together is the definition of samsara. That is why he says, even if an atom is accepted as being different from Brahman, remember that the relationship less status of Brahman will cease forever for that unintelligent, indiscriminate person who has that kind of vision of duality. For him, always you will find there is raga or desha. And therefore, in our practical lives, every time you get angry, remember it's a sign of being attached, having connections. It is bringing duality to the forefront. You have forgotten that you are Turiya. Every time that you get angry or disturbed or jealous, you are Vishwa or Tajas. You are forgotten your real status as Turiya. And once you have attachment, you will be a very, very busy person because you will have to look after the attachments. All attachment, all relationships, they have duties, concern, anxiety, everything. So he says, Kim utaha avarna jyotihi. How is this ignorance, ajnanam, the avarnam, jyotihi, to be destroyed? How can the ignorance of such a person be destroyed? Not possible at all. As long as duality is there, this problem will remain. Then Karika number 98. अलब्धावरणा सर्वे
अलब्धावरणा
अलब्धावरणा
सर्वे
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 रमा प्रकृतिनिर्मलाः
धर्मा
धर्मा
प्रकृतिनिर्मलाः
धर्माकृतिनिर्मलाः
आदौ बुद्धस्तथा मुक्ता
आदौ
आदौ
बुद्धस्तथा
बुद्धस्तथा
मुक्ताः
मुक्ताः
बुध्यन्त इति नायकाः
बुध्यन्त इति
बुध्यन्त इति
नायकाः
नायकाः
So he says सर्वे धर्माः प्रकृतिनिर्मलाः. All jivas dharmaha are prakriti nirmalaha, are naturally nirmalam, are born naturally without any impurities. But, and not only that, alabdha avaranaha. So they are free from avarana shakti, they are free from ignorance, they are buddhaha, they are self-effulgent, and tatha muktaha. Obviously, therefore, they are liberated from when adau, from the very beginning. Nayakaha iti buddhyante. Nayakaha, the jnanis, iti buddhyante, they know in this manner. So when we talk about ajnana avaranam, then you may say that because Turyam is being covered and there is ajnanam, which is covering Turyam, is there not a duality? So that is a doubt which can come. If only Brahman is there, no problem. But if Brahman is being covered by ajnana, is it not that there are two things? Of course, we say yes. Anadi ajnanam is there. But that anadi ajnanam is of a vyavaharika satyam, lower order of reality than anadi turyam. If both of them have the same order of reality, remember there will be duality. If you say that ajnanam and brahman are both of paramarthika satyam, then when ajnanam gets destroyed, because Shastra says you can destroy ajnana, what is to stop Brahman from being destroyed? Because both belong to the same level of reality. Therefore, we should know that between ajnanam and Brahman, there is a major difference. One is subject to destruction, the other is not. The one who is not subject to destruction, therefore, must be Paramarthik Satya. And Ajnanam, which is subject to destruction, must be Vyavaharika Satyam or Mithya. That is why I say Sarve Dharmaha Alabdha Avarnaha. All Jivatmas are free from Ajnana. Because the Ajnanam is only Vyavaharika Satyam. And Prakriti Nirmalaha. Jivatmas are not touched by Ajnana. Because from the Paramarthika viewpoint, Ajnanam is non-existent. And therefore, Adau Buddha, right from the very beginning, every Jivatma is self-evident. The so-called covering is only a seeming covering. Because the seeming covering, the removal of the covering has to be a seeming removal only. And therefore, Tatha Muktaha, every Jivatma has always been Mukta Purushaha, liberated from the very beginning. And Nayakaha iti Buddhyante. The wise people say, they have expressions like the seeker gains knowledge, the seeker gains liberation. These are only figurative, like saying that the rope snake has gone away. The rope snake never existed. How can it go? Therefore, when you say Jivatma was ignorant and the ignorance has gone away, you have to say because of the ignorance there was bondage. The bondage is now gone. All these statements are figurative only. So Ajnanam, Jnanam, Bandhan, Moksha, all these are from the point of Vyavaharika. And these teachers and the Shastram use the words thinker, knower, experiencer. Remember, it is the teachers who use the words. But they understand that knower can be a knower only when there is a mind involved. Only when consciousness is blessing the reflecting medium. So RC is not possible without the OC and the RM. And therefore, correctly speaking, when you talk about pramata status, knowerhood status, remember that pramata status is normally we say it is given only to the RM plus RC combination, right? But remember that RC is not possible without the RM, without the OC. And therefore, correctly speaking, technically speaking, the pramata status has to be distributed to all the three, the RM, the RC, and the OC. How do we distinguish? When we say OC is pramata, we say the pramata hood, the knower hood is nirvikara, without any change. When you say OC is jnata, remember that the jnata status is there for the OC, but without any change. So when you use the term sakshi for Atma, it is to indicate jnata status is in association with RM and RC. Changeless jnata status to OC, changeless jnata status to RC, and changeless jnata status to OC, changing jnata status to RC. This has to be remembered that the usage of the term sakshi is to be understood differently. When I am the sakshi from the point of view of OC, then I am changeless. When I am the sakshi connected to RC with a mind, then I am changing. Then we look at Karika number 99. Ramatena hi buddhasya
क्रमतेन हि
रमतेन
बुद्धस्य
हि बुद्धस्य
jnanam dharmeshu tayinah
ज्ञानं
ज्ञानं
धर्मेषु
धर्मेषु
तायिनः
तायिनः
sarve dharmastatha jnanam
सर्वे
सर्वे
धर्मास्तथा
धर्मास्तथा
ज्ञानम्
ज्ञानम्
naitat buddhena bhashitam.
नैतद्बुद्धेन
Bhashitam.
भाषितम्
So, you know, he is basically saying that there is a small little example which I remember. It's a game you played when you were a child. I don't know if any of you played it. You were a lot of children over there, and the room was big, and you blindfolded one child. Okay, but before blindfolding, you spread a lot of pillows on the ground, And then you told the child that you look at all the pillows, remember the positions. And then you blindfolded the child. And then the child's job was to reach the other end of the room without touching the pillows. For that, what do you do? You would give helpful instructions. Turn left, turn right, not so much. One leg back. You're about to hit it, don't touch it. Anybody played the game?
Yes.
Yes, Acharya. Slightly different, not pillows, but blind man's buff, we used to call it, and we played
Whatever,
it.
right?
Yeah.
Now the
Yeah.
point is that this boy starts walking guided by you. And with great difficulty, with great tension in his mind, he reaches the other end of the room without touching any pillow. And then what do? You remove the blindfold. What do you see? What does he see? That there are no pillows at all. The pillows are all removed before he started walking. This is what is happening to us in samsara. When you finally cross that ocean of samsara, what do you realize? There was no ocean at all.
There is no samsara.
There is no samsara at all. That is what he says here. Jnanam tainaha buddhasya na kramate dharmeshu hi. The all-pervading consciousness does not contact any material object at all. Tainaha means all-pervading. Jnanam is jnanam tainaha. That all-pervading consciousness does not kramate any object at all, does not touch any object at all. Right? Chaitanyam does not touch any material object at all. So Jnani understands very clearly there is no Jagat separate from him. There is no Jagat to contact at all. And therefore, Jnani's consciousness does not come into contact with any objects. What is the corollary? The Ajnani's consciousness also does not come into contact with any objects. Why? Because the consciousness is the same. The Jnani and Ajnani do not have different types of consciousness. The only difference is the Jnani knows nothing is different from him. The Ajnani thinks everything is different from him. For the Ajnani, consciousness is revealing objects. For the Jnani, consciousness reveals only names and forms, mithya only. So, sarve dharmaha tatha. This Chaitanyam is the same for both Jnani and Ajnani. Etad jnanam na bhashitam buddhena. Right? So here Buddha is not Buddhi, Buddha is Buddhism. And he's saying, Gaudapada is saying that this is not a Buddhistic teaching. Etad jnanam na bhashitam buddhena. It has not been taught by Buddha, but it is a Vedantic teaching. Why? Because in Buddhism also the world is negated. In Vedanta also the world is negated. And that's why many people think that Advaita Vedanta is similar to Buddhism. The only thing is Buddhism does not accept Veda Pramanam, while Vedanta is entirely dependent upon Veda Pramanam. Therefore, Gaudapada is saying this jnanam is not given by Buddha, so please don't get confused. This is Vedantic knowledge only. Now the last one. Durdarshamiti gambhiram.
Durdarsham
Durdarsham
iti gambhiram.
Ajam samyam visharadam.
Ajam
Ajam
samyam
Samyam
visharadam.
Visharadam
Udva padmananatvam.
Buddhva
Buddhva
padmananatvam.
Padmananatvam
Naskurmo yatha phalam.
Namaskurmu
Namaskuro
yatha
Yatha
phalam.
Balam
Iti alata shanti prakaranam.
Iti alata shanti
Shanti
prakaranam.
Prakaranam
So Budva, having known Padam, the ultimate reality, Durdarsham, which is very difficult to perceive, to understand, and Ati Gambhiram, very, very profound, because Ajam, birthless, Samyam, uniform, Visharadam, pure, Ananatvam, not having multiplicity, non-dual. What do I do? Namaskaram yathabalam. I offer my namaskara according to my capacity. Who are you offering namaskara to? To that Brahman. So padam namaskurma yathabalam. Padam means that Brahman, which is really you, which is Turyam. We all offer namaskarams to that Turyam according to our capacity. Yathabalam, as much as your capacity. And what are the adjectives used for that Turyam? Durdarsham. Cannot be comprehended as an object of knowledge. It can only be known as Aham Turyam Asmi. So remember, this is Durdarsham, not Durdarshan. Okay? Durdarsham. Difficult to see. And Durdarshan is what?
Look and
Having foresight.
perceive far away.
Durdarshan, yes. What reaches far away. That is the name for a local TV. Okay, so leave it. Let's not get confused. Ati Gambhiram, extremely subtle and deep. Ajam, birthless. Samyam, uniform, homogeneous. Visharadam, which is always pure and always uncontaminated. Anantatvam, which is non-dual, free from duality. To such a Brahman, Namaskurmaha, I offer my namaskaras. Now you can say that when you do namaskara, is it not that you are doing namaskara to another person? Is it not duality? But remember that Brahma namaskara, the namaskara to Brahman, is in the form of understanding that that Brahman is myself. That is why Krishna called it Jnana Yagnaha. Doing namaskara is in the form of knowing Brahman. Knowing in inverted commas. There is a Brahman in front whom I am doing namaskara to. If you say that, there is duality. But if you say, I am doing namaskara to that Brahman who is none other than me, then there is no duality. And that is the correct namaskara. And yatha balam means to the best of your capacity. So this is a slight concession to all of us who don't have maybe old back pain, knee joints are not good, spine pain. Shankaracharya says that knowing Turyam means claiming the fact that I am Turyam. Right? It doesn't matter if you've got a knee ache or a backache. Listening to Shastra is yajna only. The only difference is that the fire is jnanam fire, jnana agnihi. What is the oblation, the offering? The oblation is in the form of Vishwa, Tajasa, Prajna, and the three universes. All of that you offer to that Brahman. What is the offer in the sense? These are all mithya only. Because I, Brahman, am Turyam. I am offering to myself. That is why, temples are called alayaha. What does alayaha mean? What is dissolved? Laya means dissolution. Alaya means your own individuality is being dissolved in the Laya, in the Lord. And that's why temple is Alaya, the place where your own individuality is dissolved. So with this, we have come to the end of Mandukya Upanishad. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I did. I enjoyed teaching.
Definitely, Acharya.
Thank you.
It's been a long journey, but it's been very,
Yeah,
very.
I wanted to finish it today because next Saturday I'm not available. So I thought, let's finish this and then Saturday after
Yes.
that we'll start off with Chandogya. So thank you for your patience.
Thank you.
Om Purnamadav Purnamidam
Purnamidam
Purnat Purnamudachyate
Purnamudachyate
Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vasishyate
Vasishyate.
Om
Om
Shanti
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 Shanti.
Om Tat Sat Om Namah
Om Namah
Shivaya. Thank you,
Acharya.
Rupesh.
Thank you so much,
Om
Thank
Acharya.
you, Acharya.